So this is the email that was sent out to federal employees. What did you do last week? Please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. I'm the manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachments. Deadline is this Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, which would have been 5:59 a.m. for me Tuesday morning. Here's the official email here from HR. Now, when this information was released over the weekend, I told you all before that I'm not sending a civilian what I do at work. I work on classified information. You think I'm about to email them? I did classified stuff. I worked my ass off. I took a 29-minute lunch. The government owes me 1 minute for my 30-minute lunch. I stayed over 3:30. The government owes me money. What's that? 4 things? No, three, four. I think that's 3 things. Oh yeah. What else did I do? I swept around my desk because cobwebs formed over the weekend. That was the 5 things I did last week. Like, I can't tell you what I do, and I'm not going to tell you what I do because you're not a real entity. You're not even politically appointed or anything. Who are you? So that was the email that was sent out to all federal employees yesterday. It came out Sunday, and I went to work yesterday and we got it. But then DOD members, we received an email that said, "Dear Mr. The Mo You Know, OSD Pentagon," it says, the subject, OPM email. What did you do last week? It says, to all DOD personnel may have received an email from OPM requesting information. The Department of Defense is responsible for reviewing the performance of its own personnel, and it will conduct any review in accordance with its own procedures. When and if required, the department will coordinate responses to an email you received from OPM. For now, please pause any response to OPM email titled, "What did you do last week? Thank you." Performing the duties under the Secretary of Defense and Personnel Readiness. So basically, they told us to F off on what Elon and Doge said. And then you remember this deferred resignation program. Well, the judge went ahead and let that go through. But today the numbers came out. And out where I work, only 9 people accepted that. So it looks like they're pretty low. And a lot of people aren't trusting what's going on with Doge. It's pretty interesting what's going on. But what I did find out, and this is bad, is it's not bad because it hasn't happened, but there's going to be roughly 5,000 to 50,000 people in the probationary period that are probably going to be the primary targets. Now, there was a town hall meeting today, and one of the guys that worked up under me, he's on probation. So we're going through his files to try to see if his probation is actually up, because we're overseas. It's already bad enough to lose your position, but when you're overseas, that relocating back to the States, it's a lot out of pocket. Like when I came over, I didn't initially have the job that I work at now, so I had to pay out of pocket to get here. Now imagine if I was to get laid off, I'd have to ship everything back to the States because, hey, man, they fired you. You know what I mean? It's not like I finished my contract and I got to, you know what I'm saying, they're going to ship my stuff back. If we lose this, we're fired. So they had a town hall meeting, but there's really no clarification of what's actually going on. But that's why I made it in the title. This is what you guys voted for. This is what you guys voted for. You guys wanted to drain the swamp. Well, it doesn't look like it's draining any type of swamp because we got the numbers in and they said they found 55 billion, but in real life, the number is more like 2 to 3 billion. We already broke down Doge trying to give $5,000 checks just to keep you simple-minded individuals in your seat. They can't do that. It'll never happen. We still don't even know where that other 60% is coming from. But we're going to dig into this and we're going to follow the paper trail. I'm gonna follow the paper trail. What up, Demarcus? Nina? It's getting a little crazy out here, but hey, man, this is what you guys voted for or didn't vote for. I mean, All right. So we get our one New York Times article. Trump administration breaking with Musk directive says replying to his email is voluntary. Now, this was yesterday. But what they're going to be talking about is you got the FBI, they said don't reply. Department of Defense, don't reply. I think it was NSA, they said don't reply. The response to Elon Musk, what did you do last week? Email to federal employees suggests that there may be limits to how far he can push the government's workforce. Elon's month-long rampage through the federal bureaucracy appears to have met its first real test, as some of President Trump's top loyalists flatly reject the billionaire's demand at their employees to justify their jobs or summarily fired. Now, summarily fired, my bad. I should go ahead and try to be a lawyer because I knew prior to these emails even being sent out that this is one, illegal. Two, you don't need to reply because who is this guy? And three, I just wasn't going to do it. I just flat out wasn't going to do it. There weren't any emails. There was no guidance on what we needed to do. I told you guys Friday night when the rumors were coming around, I'm not replying to this. I'm not telling nobody what I did at work today. When I get off work, I'm off work. Don't ask me what I did at work. And that goes for anybody. When I'm off work, don't ask me about work. My office hours are, you know what I mean? By Monday, just 48 hours after the email from Mr. Musk with the subject line, what did you do last week, landed in the email boxes of millions of federal workers, personnel officials proclaimed the request to be voluntarily, even as Mr. Musk renewed his demand. For the first time since the beginning of Mr. Trump's return to power, government employees appeared to be fending off. Hey, back up, bitch, back. At least for now, an ambush into their war with the world's richest man. Even if the head-spinning series of events, contradictory tweets from Mr. Musk, comments from the president, and emails from agency heads left many of them confused. hey, Esquire, that kind of got a Esquire off subject real quick. If you guys go back and do a little research, if you know me, if you go back and do a little bit of research, there are some lawyer skits from me lying around the internet. I might have to bring attorney at law, Moe Live back. Yeah. If you do your research, you'll be able to find they should still be up. There are some skits of me practicing law. So they're out there. And that's back in like 2018, I want to say. After Mr. Musk email, several agencies quickly sent out emails telling their employees they did not need to provide the 5 bullet points about their activity that he wanted. There is no expectation that HHS employees respond to OPM, and there's no impact to your employment with the agency if you choose not to respond, said an email sent to employees at the Department of Health and Human Services, referring to the agency that Mr. Musk requests the Office of Personnel Management. The Department of Health and Human Services added that anyone who wanted to respond should assume that what they write will be read by by some foreign actors and tailor your response accordingly. So basically, this is a setup. Let's say you get on there. You tell them what you did last week. I don't know any job where 1 week justifies what they do for the other 51 weeks of the year. So if I just give you 5 bullet points and last week was a down week, oh, we just did this, we did this, we did this, and we did this. But normally you're doing the bulk of the stuff the first week of the month, the second week of the month, because you got deliveries or when events go down. So they were going to judge your whole career off of being valuable just off of 5 bullets from last week. Just think real hard about what you did last week. Can you remember anything you did last week? I don't remember a damn thing what I did last week. I did a couple of lives. I I watched Zero Day on Netflix. Y'all check that out. Episode 4 dropped today. Um, what else did I? Oh, I took a nap when I got home from work. It's hard enough to think about what I did last week. But anyway, uh, nothing, it really ain't nothing else in that article. Let me see something else. Let me see. Oh, here we go. So this is how they're going to read the 2.7 emails, 2.7 million emails if they were to receive all of them, but they're definitely not. So just like all of their numbers that they lied to us about and tell us, oh man, we done found $55 billion. They haven't. All right. Just like they said they were going to get about 50,000 people to resign, they didn't. Doge will use AI to assist the responses of federal workers who were told to justify their jobs via email. The revelation comes as federal workers face a midnight deadline to respond. So, not only that, they don't even have enough people to read all of these emails. So now you need 5 bullets to justify your whole career, because some people have been working 20, 30 years, but they got to send in 5 bullets to justify their whole career from just off of what they did last week. And then it's not even humans that are going to be reading over it. You know, when you submit your job application, the computer scan over for the keywords. We don't know none of the keywords. These computers don't know what they're looking for because every job is different. They don't have what your job description is to justify, hey, I did this, but the reason I did this is because of this. But they don't even know what your job is. It's just a computer going over, okay, what did you do this week? Okay, you installed a whole network system, but what is your job? You know what I mean? What is the email? What are we looking for? These bullets aren't, it's just bullshit. But anyway, Washington response to Elon Musk directed email to government employees about what work they had accomplished in the last week are expected to be fed into an artificial intelligence system to determine whether the jobs are necessary. So it's not even going off of what you actually did. It wants to know if that job is necessary. Let me tell you something. Is it necessary for us to have a guy that owns Twitter/X telling federal employees what to do? No, it isn't necessary. Is it necessary for us to have Tesla? No. Is it necessary for us to have SpaceX, which receives $8 million a day on a $3 billion contract throughout the year? No, it's not necessary. We got NASA. It's not necessary, but we have that shit. But we ain't draining the swamp. The information will go through a large language module, an advanced AI system that looks at huge amounts of text data to understand, generate, and process human language. The sources said the AI system will determine whether someone's work is mission critical or not. How would this AI system that's learning how to process human language determine if it's mission critical if they don't know the mission? Everyone's mission is different. I was bioenvironmental at one point. My mission was to make sure that the drinking water was good. My mission was to make sure that people weren't exposed by radiation when they went to go get an x-ray. I was bioenvironmental. My mission was making sure that when downrange, people sleep in tents further away from the flight line so they won't be wake up by the noise. Mission critical. You don't like this AI doesn't know what the mission is. Everyone's mission is something different. All he's doing, because I'm gonna show you guys the connection of what's going on, because All this is, Elon doesn't care about any of this. All he's doing, you see, he's using AI because he tried to buy Open AI for, I think it was 96 billion, but they told his ass no. So what is he doing? He's using AI to learn the language from all these different humans, but he's using federal information to do this. He's not using Twitter, which he probably is using that too. But that's all this is. He wants you to send these emails so they can go in there and put this in their database. That's all it is. He's always looking, how can he benefit for himself? So this is really terrible what's going on. But that's a little further on. We might get there tonight. I got other stuff I want to talk about. But the AI system will determine whether someone's work is mission critical or not. The U.S. Office of Personnel Management emails were sent to federal workers on Saturday, shortly after Musk wrote on in a post on X that all federal employees, I can't even speak tonight, all federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a sign of resignation. Man, shut the fuck up, man. You remember everybody that resigned? I got the paperwork right here. Remember everybody resigned? There's still no direction on this. Everyone that filled this out by January 28th, guess what? They still coming into work. They told us that they were going to get paid to September. They still coming to work because there is no plan. It's only a concept. And you see the actual email? This is what you got to point out. The OPM email did not mention the resignation threat. On the actual email, there is no threat of you resigning. So that right there showed you all you needed to know. You didn't have to fill this out. Please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachment. Deadline is Monday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. The reason the email requested no links or attachments was because the plan to send the information to AI system, the source said. No, that's because they told you you can't. Hey, man, you're not getting that classified information. A request for comment from OPM as to whether humans will be involved in reviewing the responses was not answered immediately. The White House declined to comment because they have no plan, just a concept. But in the response to a tweet about the uses of LLMs, Musk wrote on X that they were not needed here, and this was basically a check to see if the employee had a pulse and was capable of replying to an email. So another thing that they're trying to do is there's a lie going on that, oh man, it's people are working for the government that aren't even real. They aren't doing any work. Well, listen, the only way you're going to get paid as a federal employee, you got to fill out your timesheet. So who signs off on your timesheet? Your supervisor. So you mean to tell me that we just got fake people out here collecting checks and their supervisors are signing off on it, and HR is signing off on it, and the supervisor is signing off on it. So this doesn't seem like it's a problem at the bottom. This seems like it's a problem at the top for whoever's signing off on these checks. But they're saying they're sending it to dead people. Well, let me tell you something. If I write a check to you and you don't cash that check, that money is still in my bank account. So if you are sending checks to people without pulses who are dead, that check is never getting cashed. So the money is never being spent. So there is no waste. The only thing that is wasted is what? Because no one's sending a paper check. And if they're dead, that means their bank account is closed. So that transfer is not going to go through. It's just going to get sent right back. But hey, man, not to get into like the people I work with, because it'd be easy to single them out, but they just don't get it. They just don't get it. And you sit there and you try to explain this stuff to them, but they just don't get it. All right, so they're saying that dead people are working and they're going to play tennis. Now, I don't know how many people work from home, but when you work from home, you don't have time to go play tennis. And I don't know too many niggas playing tennis, so we need to look at the white folk for that. No disrespect, white folk, but y'all the ones playing tennis where y'all supposed to be working. After the deadline for employees to reply, the email has passed late Monday. OPM did not immediately respond to a request to comment regarding how many workers replied and how many were required to do so. In an email to the workforce earlier Monday, the Justice Department said that during a meeting with the Interagency Chief Human Capital Office, Chief Human Capital Officers Council, OPM informed agencies that employee responses to the email are voluntary. OPM also clarified that despite what Musk had posted, not responding to the email does not equate to resignation, the email said. So pretty much it's the fear monger. He put that out there. If you don't reply, but he put that on X because he legally couldn't send out an email doing that. That's why it was removed. But people fear for this, and no one had to respond. And with this not being legal and him removing, you're resigning, all he did was collect all of these emails to see how humans think and to put that into his AI, because we know he tried to buy Open AI and they told his ass no. Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, right after this, we're going to go into another factual, but people would call it a conspiracy. We'll go into a little bit of facts. Musk complained about backlash at a directive on his social media late Monday. The email request was utterly trivial, as the standard for passing the test was to type some words and press send. Yet so many failed, even in a test, urged on some cases by their managers. Have you ever witnessed such incompetence, incompetent for how your taxes are being spent? He wrote. When he got caught up and we started to see all these Trump appointees, different agencies saying, man, we're not replying to that dumb shit. He tried to say, oh, we were just seeing if you would reply. But that's why I said it's a setup, because if you were to send your shit out there, and let's just say this computer hit your stuff, by the time this all gets took into court and the judge puts a block on this, you may have already been fired. You may be 2 or 3 weeks post being fired and you're trying to recover. Now they're trying to call you back because we know that they fired people that were over the nuclear controls. They fired them, didn't have any contact emails. Now they're trying to get in contact with them. They fired the people that were over the bird flu. Now they're trying to get back in contact with them because they're messing up. So in order for him to seem like he knew what he was doing and save face in front of his supporters, President Musk said, oh, it was just to see if you could reply, see if you were alive. It was really that easy. It's all a setup, man. You can't trust these idiots. You can't. You just can't trust these idiots. They keep saying, oh, Trump's like, oh, man, he's doing this thing. He didn't hire Elon. He's a smart. Elon didn't even come up with Tesla. He was a part of it, but he wasn't the brains behind the operation. But what did he do? Just like he's doing now, he took over. SpaceX, he ain't the brains behind SpaceX. One of the top engineers just stepped down from SpaceX. He just got the money because he's manipulating things. Now, I'm upset because I'm invested in Tesla, and at one time Tesla was doing his thing. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was getting the bag, but now it's like, come on, man. All these countries are putting the hammer down. We don't want no Teslas over here. That's how they fighting back. That's how they fighting back, because Trump isn't in control. Elon then pretty much bought it. But let's continue on. In a subsequent tweet, he seemed to indicate that the second email could be sent to government workers who don't respond to the first one. And let me tell you, I'm going to be a worker that's not going to respond to the second one, to the third one, to the fourth one, to the fifth one. I'm not replying to anything that comes from a nigga on Twitter. Subject to the discretion of the president, they will be given another chance. Failure to respond a second time will result in termination, he wrote. Yeah, okay. And I'll be right down there getting me a lawyer and we'll have a class action lawsuit. And I know how much you worth. And I would definitely take $10 million because of the stress that I'm going through right now. Reading this, I am fighting back tears. When I wake up every morning in cold sweats, guys, I'm wondering, will I have a job? Where will my next meal come from? You may not see it on my face because I am a strong, independent man trying to find my way through this world and serve my country the best way I know how, because I put that suit on and I serve this flag. And right now, I just don't know. I'm stressed. I got grays in my dreads. Then Trump responds with, the initial directive has faced pushback from unions, workers, and even some agencies since it was sent. But the effort was praised by Trump earlier Monday. I thought it was great, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office, where he was meeting with the French president. Now we're gonna get on you, Emmanuel. You did clean up for the Olympics. I give you that. We have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like, you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, he said, claiming without providing evidence that a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. Well, if it was about people existing, hey, we need to see if you're alive. Let's do full accountability. We already do full accountability. We've been doing that since the beginning of the year. They see if everyone is at work. We need to know if somebody took off. We send that on up. If you wanted to see if someone is alive, hey, have the supervisor send up something to their supervisor, have them send it up to whatever commander or whoever they work up under. Hey, these people are present and accounted for. We know that they're doing their job. It's really that simple. That's why I say this starts at the top, not only at the bottom. What did he say? If you don't answer, you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired. Listen, I put my 8 hours in. On my timesheet, I put my 8 in. You want to know if I'm alive or not? See if I put that motherfucking 80 in. See if I said complete and certify on there. You want to know if I'm alive? You want to know if I'm alive? Check that motherfucking timesheet. That thing will tell you I'm alive, all right? Do we think some of the jobs were a waste, like the job itself held no value? Um, I can believe that. Well, but then again, how can we say someone's job doesn't have, like, there's no value to it? It was created for a reason. There's some kind of value to it. That's like, how can I put this? Is there value to the guy that sits at the front desk, that when you go through the metal detector, they tell you to put your stuff in the basket and go through the metal detector? Is there value for him? Is there value for the lady that sits at the front desk and you go up and ask her, hey, what floor is this on? Is there value to that? You see what I'm saying? Is there value to, like, who determines what the value of your job is? They obviously created it. You know what I mean? Now, if they just created like a BS job or something, but the people that they're firing, it's the regular everyday working people. It's not well, I mean, we got that 4-star general. He got fired, but he still gets his check regardless. He's just not the chief of staff. So to me, I was like, damn, it's messed up. But that just means less responsibility. You still get the same pay. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of people are not answering because they don't exist. Well, we already know that that's a lot, but there was a lot of genius in sending it, Trump said. If people don't respond, it's very possible that they are no such person, or they're not working. Or they could have been on leave because the email went out on Saturday. They may have been on vacation and not at work. Or like we had today, the internet was down and we couldn't respond to emails. A coalition of unions and groups that have been fighting the Trump administration mass layoffs and probationary workers charged the effort was unlawful. They amended their lawsuit against the U.S. Personnel Management over the weekend to add a claim involving the OPM email directing workers to justify their work week. So this is what I'm talking about here. If this goes through and the unions can sue, independent workers will then be able to follow up, reference this lawsuit here, and you will be able to independently sue. The lawsuit charges that the administration did not follow proper procedures, such as an order, and should be voided by a judge. The mass firings ordered by OPM are illegal and betray the trust of the countless federal employees. The patronizing demand that the federal workers still on the job have to justify themselves with 5 accomplishments just as insult to injury. That's 2 against the law. Lawyer Norm Eason. I like Norm Eason. I heard of him. Norm Eason said in the statement on behalf of the plaintiffs, my bad. Musk has been tasked by Trump to reducing the size of the government. The email is seen as a push to reduce the federal workforce by as much as 10%, which we were already undermanned. So that's pretty much everything there. Cash Patel already done turned on him. Let me see. He ain't big general no more. He big out of a job. But he's a good general though. So that right there is pretty much what's going on. Like I said, we had a town hall meeting. I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on in my region. Like I said, HR, they have no clue what's going on. You see all these lawsuits are going to court. Currently, there are 74, may went up to 78. I got to double check. I think there were 4 more lawsuits put in today, but it was last time I checked 72 or 74 lawsuits against the Trump administration. So that's what we're on moving forward right there. All right.